Hey everyone, it's January 16th. We got the morning market rundown. Let's dive into this. So we can see here the CPI data came in. We got this anticipated move that we had with the gap up. So we'll see if we get some profit taking, maybe down back into this 2-day VWAP, and where the year-to-date VWAP is at this 587.09 on the daily time frame, 587.52. It looks like that black VWAP here. So we'll see if we just want to get the FOMO gets in and we push in, break 600, make a new little high. Maybe we do rally to a new high at 612 and then get some profit taking. But in a perfect situation to not feel like I'm chasing this, ideally we would get this pullback into this 2-day VWAP area. Or this would be the 3-day. So pull back to this 2-day at 592.15 potentially, or get this something like this here to this 2-day VWAP, undercut it, get back above the daily VWAP, and then get going. Ideally, something like this would play out for the lower risk setup. This was the price action we kind of mapped out from yesterday's scenario. So ideally, that would give us the lower risk setup. And just like we had marked here, we could then get involved for a bounce, trading it into these VWAPs, and then look to get back above that VWAP from the recent peak, reclaim that, and get full confidence that the intermediate trend has changed. Here's our anticipated moving average here. And we could see in the pre-market data what this is looking like. Is we got that rising moving average now. And we'll start to drop this data off. So this moving average will start to rise pretty aggressively, especially on Friday. If prices sustains in this 594 area, we'll be averaging out data from 585 or higher if it's trading higher. So that the potential scenario for today is pull back to this 2-day VWAP area, potentially to the week-to-date VWAP. Okay, and that's why we have this. We'll make this blue, make it light green. What was it? What was a Wednesday? So we'll make it this color here. So Wednesday's price action, and we got today's price action. Maybe we just hold this VWAP, break back above the pre-market high, and squeeze into that 600. So one thing too here, if we look here at the daily time frame, right, we have a VWAP from this previous high. That's right where we rallied into. And we got this declining 20-day and this 50-day moving average here. That if we continue to rise up here, it will start to rise as we drop off the data in these areas where we're trading higher. But come Tuesday next week, if we're below, that's when this data, this 50-day moving average will be declining. Wanted to point out something here too, is these previous bounces, this moving average smooth signal on this 10-day RSI was down, guilty until proven innocent, and now perhaps the smooth 10-day moving average of RSI momentum has now diverged slightly here. No, actually, there's no divergence. It's making lower lows. All right, with this, but what's happening is every other rally was into a declining slope of the smooth moving average. Now we actually have a flat, and where we 10 bars to go, right here. So 10 bars to go. So that we're going to start to drop off this data where we're higher. So this smooth momentum signal will start to rise as well, and we'll have trend alignment on the RSI. Let's move on to the QQQ. We have this situation where we have the mapped out declining 20-day moving average here, and we're rallying up into that. We're gapping up, getting back above VWAP. So perhaps maybe we should start to trade up to this pre-market high make a new high, fade back down a little bit, and continue to hold VWAP. But if we break down below 519.06, watch this gap fill down to this 515.16 area, which is the same situation, same story, same play as the SPY, is watch a pullback to the 2-day, get back above the daily VWAP, trade into the pre-market high for continuation to the upside. So let's turn this pre-market data off and see what we're working with here. This was for the daily time frame. So this is what we kind of mapped out as well, was a gap up, some consolidation. Ideally would see the profit taking back down into this week to date VWAP, the year to date VWAP or so. But just like we talked about, maybe we just reclaim daily VWAP, break pre-market high and go, or we pull back in to this 2-day VWAP, which if we look where this is this near this previous high right here. And that's right where we're rallying into. You could see on the daily time frame, and we could see here on the intermediate time frame, this is right where we rallied. So every time history shows us where we rally up above this slightly, they've dropped it. Rally up above it slightly and drop it. So maybe we get a little bit more rally up above this and they drop it down. And when we rally back up, when we break it, instead of rallying from the recent low and breaking it 4% about, if they do rally it up, flush it, and say we break it from here, we're only breaking it at 1%. So if we just get that another 4% move, so to speak, right, that would bring us up to this rallying into this new high area, right? And then ideally, then we could start to see the flip and see this start to be support. And that's that VWAP from the 16th of December, the previous high on this NASDAQ. So same story. Ideally, maybe we just hold and reclaim this VWAP here. Reclaim it like we did in the pre-market so far and continue up. But ideally, maybe we'll get this gap fill, rally into 2-day VWAP, get back above the daily VWAP. Reject that daily VWAP, squeeze above it, retest. That's a perfect situation. Where do we get involved? Most likely somewhere in this area. Don't buy the dip, don't buy the dip, don't buy the dip. Strength, consolidation. So maybe in this area where it's would be retesting VWAP. So this would be our price action. And this would be our VWAP. So that's our VWAP right here. So, and that 2-day VWAP would be something like this. So maybe that could be a potential scenario for today, where we rally up, make that new high, flush back down, and get going again towards the end of the day. So hopefully this was helpful. If we dive in to the RSI quickly, we did it on the daily time frame on the SPY. Let's do it here. We could see actually we're rallying more into that declining slope 10 days ago is right here. So if we hold and trend up today, that RSI from 10 days ago will continue to flatten out. And if we continue up for a day or two, we'll rise. And if we pull back, it'll let it continue to flatten out. So it's a little different story than the SPY. And that's just interesting and not really helpful. So hopefully this was helpful. Enjoy.